Today we'll be taking up the chapter of management and business environment. We all know what business is, right? And we also know what are the basic ingredients that one requires to start off with a business, right? You need capital, you need manpower, you need raw material, right? Man, material, resources, यही सब चाहिए होता है. Now, where does the business get all these resources from? From the environment. बिजनेस के पास अपने पास तो कुछ नहीं, उसको लेबर लानी है, तो फ्रॉम द सोसाइटी. फाइन. इफ वी नीड नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज टू बी यूज्ड टू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट, फॉर दैट आल्सो वी हैव टू डिपेंड अपॉन नेचर, दैट इज द सोसाइटी, राइट. वी नीड टू सेल आवर प्रोडक्ट. किसको बेचेंगे? टू द कस्टमर्स. फाइन. सो बेसिकली ऑल द individuals, institutions and other forces, which are beyond the control of the business, but yet business depends upon them for its successful existence. All these individuals, institutions, organizations and the forces, fine, they together constitute the business environment, right? So business environment is the sum total of all individuals, institutions and other forms and other forces that are beyond the control of the business, but yet they may affect its performance. All these forces put together, they define the business environment, right? Now, as we know that business environment is something that is very, very dynamic. Dynamic meaning it keeps on changing very fast. Fine. Nothing is static. Customers का example ले लें अगर हम, right? Today I like, maybe touch screen phones. Tomorrow I may like something कि जिसमें कि मैं मेरी voice command ले ले वो. Right? So consumers' taste, preferences, their expectations from the product, they keep on changing at a very, very fast pace. Fine. And if you want to continue, to be there in the market successfully, you have to keep changing your plans, or you have to keep making moderations in your plans according to the changing environment. मुझे आसपास अपने जो चेंजेस हो रहे हैं उनको ध्यान में रखते हुए अपने प्रोडक्ट को, अपने प्लान्स को अडेप्ट करना बहुत जरूरी है. दे से इफ यू डू नॉट अडेप्ट यू डू नॉट एंड्योर. Till the time you will not adapt, you will not endure. But how will you adapt? You will be able to adapt only when you study your business environment carefully. Now, for a business, what constitutes its environment? Right? We talk about its suppliers, we talk about the customers, we talk about what are the economic conditions prevalent, right? We talk about what kind of technology is being used. Fine. So, and we also talk about who are my competitors. All these forces put together, they constitute the forces which are external to the business, but yet business depends upon them for its existence, right? They all constitute the business environment, right? You have certain specific forces like your customers, your suppliers, right? And competitors, investors, etc. And you have certain general forces also. When we talk about general forces, we talk about technology, we talk about economic conditions, right? We talk about the legal framework of the country where you are operating. And all these factors, they are interrelated. Any one particular factor cannot be taken in isolation. What is the kind of government that is in force in your country will have a direct bearing on the kind of the economic policies that it frames, right? So two different components, but then yet they are interrelated, right? Then dynamic business environment, I've already told you, it's something very dynamic in nature. It keeps on changing very soon. It keeps on changing at a very, very fast pace. So you have to keep up with the pace of the changes in the environment by scanning the environment at regular intervals, right? Now, I've just covered certain features of business environment in this explanation. What are the features? Number one being, it is a sum total of all external factors that influence the working of the business. We've just discussed those external factors. Second is, there are some specific forces and there are some general forces. Third is, all these forces, none of the forces can be studied in isolation. They all are interrelated. Then business environment is something very dynamic. It has a dynamic nature. Then there's always an uncertainty, right? You can never predict that what kind of change is coming your way. You can never predict that today if customers like a particular product, then what is going to be the customer's taste and preferences, like 2 months down the line. We can never predict. Clear? Then maybe technological advancements. We can never predict technological advancements. Now after this, coming to that, why is it important to study business environment, or why is it important for a business to scan the environment at regular intervals? Now we say that business environment gives us opportunities as well as threats. It gives us opportunities in the form that we try and explore, we try and find out an area which has not been explored by anyone else. Fine. It gives us business opportunities. It is for us to identify those business opportunities, right? It enables to identify business opportunities. Now, I'll give you this example. There is this website travelkhana.com. Now, what is it all about? It was like, basically it was founded by a person who himself is a foodie. Okay, he loves food, and while on his way, while he was traveling in the train, he realized that many people do not relish the food that is being served in the trains, right? They cannot eat as to whatever they'd like to have. So he thought of this very different and innovative idea, wherein while booking your ticket only, you could place an order that what all would you want to have. He established a network, right? There's a travelkhana.com. You have to give the train number, the time of arrival or departure, or whichever particular station, whatever time you want to have your dinner, right? He established a network with different restaurants. अगर एक ट्रेन का कोई रूट है ना, उस रूट पे जितने भी रेस्टोरेंट्स पड़ते हैं उनसे उसने एक नेटवर्क एस्टैब्लिश किया, ठीक है? डिनर टाइम पे उसको पता है दैट इफ द ट्रेन इज गोइंग टू रीच लेट्स से स्टेशन सी, सो स्टेशन सी पे विद इन अ रेडियस ऑफ 5 किलोमीटर जितने भी रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं उनसे टाई अप किया, right? You place an order, and the minute your train arrives at that station, fine, the food that you have ordered will reach your seat. Okay, now this is an opportunity that the environment has only offered him, right? He thought, he experienced it himself, and he thought that there would be many other people like him who would want to maybe order while they are on, for them, once you are out on a holiday, train journey is also something that one looks forward to. So why not make it a more enjoyable experience? If someone doesn't really relish the food that is being served and there is not much of a variety that they have to offer, so one can always go in for this, right? So there are a lot of opportunities which are there in the environment, but it is for us to be able to identify those opportunities and convert them into profitable business opportunities or ventures. Second is enables to identify threats. Now what are threats? Threats are the external environmental factors which hamper the success of a business organization or hampers the growth of the business organization. Now when we talk about threats, when computers were introduced, it was a threat to the companies manufacturing typewriters. Typewriters were rendered useless. Fine. So definitely whenever there is a technological upgradation or technological advancement or technological invention, the technology presently in use, okay, the new technology always poses a threat to the present technology in use. Clear? So environment, scanning of environment, if you are scanning the environment on regular basis, you are able to identify the threats and you look for ways and means to deal with that. For example, if I have a restaurant, fine, and I only serve Indian cuisine. Now within the same area, if there is another person who opens another restaurant, fine, and that's a multi-cuisine restaurant wherein they serve Indian, they serve Italian, they serve Thai, they serve Chinese. So that's a threat to me, right? Because my restaurant is offering only, the variety is limited, right? So I'll probably have to work out a scheme wherein I also start to offer different cuisines along with Indian cuisine. Indian cuisine will be my speciality, but then alongside I will have to offer other cuisines also if I have to compete with that restaurant, right? Then it helps in tapping useful resources. Now where does a business get its resources from? It gets it from the society, right? And a careful scanning of the environment, it helps the firm to tap such resources and convert them into goods and services required by the customer, right? Then helps in coping with the changes. Now it's only when you scan the environment on regular basis that you'll be able to identify that what are the kind of the changes that are happening in different areas, right? Be it changes in the customer taste and preferences, or be it changes in another environment, let's say legal environment, or be it changes in technology, right? So if you are scanning the environment on regular basis, you will be able to identify what are the different changes that are taking place which are external to your organization, fine, and what are the different steps. You will be able to identify the different steps that you need to take at your end to cope up with those changes, right? Then it assists in planning. Now what is planning? Planning is basically deciding in advance what is to be done in future. Clear? Plans are always made for future. Fine. So when you are scanning the environment, आप changes को जब continuously study कर रहे हो, so when you make your plans, you will definitely incorporate the changes, the changes that are taking place in the environment. After studying the changes in the environment, then if you make your plans will be more realistic in nature and they'll be more workable. Last but not the least, helpful in improving the performance. Business enterprises that continuously scan their environment and adjust business practices suitably are the ones which not only improve upon their performance but also continue to flourish and be successful in the market. So this was all about, these are the 6 points as to why it's important to scan the business environment. Now coming to the dimensions of business environment, right? I mentioned at the beginning of the lecture that there are different forces. Fine, we said specific forces. When we talk about specific forces, I said your customers, your suppliers, then your competitors and your investors. These are the specific forces external to the business organization but yet affects its functioning. Now we also mentioned that there are some general forces, right? These are those general forces, right? There are about 5 dimensions to business environment. First one being economic environment. Now economic environment, it includes factors like rate of inflation, demand and supply conditions, rate of interest at which one gets the loan, and economic policies, etc. prevalent in the market. Now let's say that if in the economy is in a state of a boom, fine, wherein everyone is earning quite a lot of money, okay, purchasing power of people has also gone up, right? Now if the purchasing power of people has gone up, you can afford to sell your commodities at a very, very high price and people will be ready to pay that because their purchasing power has increased, right? But in a condition of depression, products which are really highly priced or which are really steeply priced, they'll not be able to do well because people would not be having the purchasing power to buy those products. Okay, another example would be that if the rate of interest on home loans, it increases, it is directly going to affect the demand for home loans. It is directly going to affect the demand for home loans because people wouldn't be ready to take these home loans. और home loans नहीं होंगे तो indirectly वो affect करेगा on demand of these property market में भी decline आ जाएगा अगर rate of interest of home loans बढ़ गया. Clear? So this is about economic environment, right? Alright, then coming to next, that is your social environment. Social environment, it basically includes or consists of customs and traditions that are prevalent in a particular society, then values, then social trends and society's expectations. Now, what are traditions? Traditions are basically social practices that have lasted for decades or even centuries, right? For example, Diwali is celebrated with great pomp and show almost all around the country, right? And Diwali time is the time wherein you have the sales for different products like electronics or gold ornaments and other crockery items. It really goes up. It really goes up. So in a way, because Diwali is celebrated with such a pomp and show, fine, the business organizations, fine, they are in a phase of a boom. They are in a phase of boom because people buy in big quantities. लोग ज़्यादा खरीदते हैं. As a result, फायदा किसको हो रहा है? To businessmen, right? Now it says celebration of Diwali, Eid, Christmas, etc. in India provides significant financial opportunities for greeting card making companies, sweet, confectionery manufacturers, etc. Right? Similarly, आजकल there are a lot of fitness freaks or people have become more health conscious. So इससे किसको boom मिल गया? All those company which are making those health drinks or the protein powder, fine, because अब ज्यादा किस पे वैल्यू प्लेस कर रहे हैं हम? ऑन बीइंग मोर फिट. Gymnasiums, gyms, fine, they are more in demand. Yoga instructors are more in demand. Aerobics are more in demand. So it has a direct bearing on that. Okay. Then coming to technological environment, it includes factors related to technological advancements. Fine, whatever technological improvements that are being made, or innovations or inventions that are being made, that also has a direct bearing on the business. How is that now? Now with the introduction of your videotapes, ठीक है, पहले हमारे यहाँ पे वीडियो टेप्स हुआ करती थी, VCRs हुआ करते थे. अब जैसे ही CDs आई, पहले VCDs आई, thereafter they were replaced by DVDs. Fine. So this is what? This is a part of technological environment. As soon as a better technology comes in, the old one is rendered as, becomes redundant, it becomes obsolete. So you no longer want to use the obsolete technology. Okay. Earlier we used to have those projectors. We would write on those transparent sheets. We used to write it on that. Fine. And then the projection used to be made on the overhead projector. Okay. But now with the help of the other projector, you can straight away connect it to your laptop and the presentation can be shown. Clear? So as soon as this was introduced, all right, तो पुराने वाला was become obsolete. तो जो भी लोग उसको बना रहे थे, they have been swiped out of the business. All right. और ऐसा क्यों हुआ? Because they did not scan the environment properly. They should have taken care of that. These are the technological upgradations or inventions or innovations that are coming up. So it becomes necessary for them to adapt. Okay. Next is political environment. Now political environment basically includes political conditions such as stability of the government, peace in the country, and attitudes of the elected representatives towards the business. Now it depends कि जो political party आपकी force में है उसकी ideology क्या है. Fine. Now let us say if we have a political party which is in force जो कि बोलती है that we have to be self-reliant. हमें बाहर से कुछ नहीं लेना. We do not believe in any imports and exports. Right? जो भी हम करेंगे अपनी कंट्री में ही बनाएंगे. Now this is going to have a direct bearing on the business. Right? Those people who were importing some components or subparts of their product from outside countries, from maybe Japan or somewhere else, they'll have to look for some other alternative. Fine. उनकी तो डिमांड एकदम नीचे चली जाएगी. Clear? Now यहाँ पे उस component को बनाना, meaning their cost will go up. Okay. Similarly, if we have a government which is more open and which is more liberalized, which is in favor of FDIs, ठीक है. अब जो नरेंद्र मोदी का जो ये आया है Make in India campaign, fine, they say that foreign direct investment, fine, FDI, they say first I am going to define FDI as first develop India, okay, along with foreign direct investment. So what he is saying is that you first have to create more employment opportunities here in India, which is going to lead to an increase in the disposable income of people in India. उनकी purchasing power पहले बढ़ाओ, तभी आपके products की demand यहाँ पे बढ़ेगी. Right? तो this is also going to have a direct bearing on the business, beyond the control of the business, but it's going to affect the business directly. Right? Last but not the least, legal environment. That is, whatever legal policies are in force in that particular country, it constitutes of that. For example, in a state like Gujarat, if liquor is banned, ठीक है, तो you cannot sell or think of opening up a shop of liquor in Gujarat. Fine. Then अगर cigarettes के packets के ऊपर cigarette smoking is injurious to health, that is, वो लिखना mandatory है. यहाँ तक कि movies में भी, if someone is shown consuming liquor or someone is shown smoking a cigarette, so this statutory warning, it is mandatory to give this statutory warning. So this was all about the dimensions of business environment. I hope you've understood that how these 5 factors, economic environment, social environment, technological environment, political environment and legal environment, they have a direct bearing on the business. So in order to be successful and in order to be there in the market for a long period of time, it becomes essential for every business person or for every business organization to continuously keep scanning all these dimensions of business environment. Until and unless you scan the changes and adopt accordingly, adapt your business plans or business objectives accordingly or your product accordingly, you will not be able to endure, fine, for a long period of time.